Okay, hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Easy Markets Daily Pitch International with me, Darius and Charles, because today is the 10th of October, 2023. So, welcome, everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendations and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. Look, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and I'll disappear here for a little bit and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so now then, also just before we go further, as always, just, oh, by the way, I can see there, Godly, hola, hola, back to you. I hope you're having a wonderful start of Tuesday. So yeah, as always, like just a quick mentioning of our Easy Markets website, which you can always check out for more information about us. I believe you can find some useful information here. So yep, visit us here. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. So right now, guys, let's I think jump straight away into the charts. Just wanted to pick up on a few. So yeah, Nikkei 225 as always, I start off with that one. Look, we did get a nice good boost here to the upside. We tested my downside resistance line, which is great. I talked about this yesterday. I said to you that as long as we remain above this 200-day EMA, there is a chance for this one. You know, could be a good push towards this downside resistance line here, which we got perfect. Now the question is, can we get a nice breakout here through this downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 15th of September? If we can get that, then yes, potentially more buyers could join in. Godly, yes, price action this morning. Yes, of course. That's understandable. You know, we do have some issues going around in the world, so that is driving the stock market a little bit higher, but I'll get to that in a bit when I'll jump into the US indices. But yeah, look, Nikkei 225, beautiful reaction in general, what's happening in the US yesterday, what happened in the US yesterday. So this is the aftermath, you know, this is the reaction that we're getting. So there's not much data, Japanese data, that is driving this, but it's mainly kind of reaction to what has happened in the US. So, like I said, from the technical perspective, now I'm looking at this downside line. If we get a nice clearance of that one, then yes, I will consider slightly higher levels, and then I will aim for, let me just grab this line. I will aim for this territory right there near the 32,435, or maybe a little bit higher here, this 32,560 zone. And then we will take it from there. In terms of the downside on this one, on Nikkei, what I would like to see here is a drop back below the 200-day EMA in order to get comfortable with some lower levels. China 50 index. So this one's having a life of its own. To be honest, it seems like China is just kind of, you know what, whatever's happening in the world, I really don't care, and just kind of let's live on, and let's worry about our deflation situation. Yeah, I mean, it seems like that at least. And I think that like China's saying, like, you know what, you do whatever you want to do there. You know, we will kind of continue trying to figure out our own economy. And it seems like that. And at the moment, look, China might kind of come out of this okay because again, we all need Chinese produce, right? At the moment, although some economies are trying to find alternatives to China, but to be honest, China is unique in a way, so it's kind of difficult to find an alternative to China. Okay. that's another thing right now. But of course, we're seeing that the market is not rising in China, but because they're, like I said, they're dealing right now with their own housing issues, housing problems. So that's what kind of is not allowing the stock market to go, Chinese stock market to go anywhere, more to the upside. It's balancing, it's holding on just barely, but yeah, it's not really ideal. Jumping into ASX 200. By the way, in terms of, let's say, areas and how to play this game here, I think that it's time to get rid of some of the stuff here. So, for example, this upside line needs to go. I'll keep this downside line. I think that this will be something to be watched. If we clear it, then yes, I'll consider a move to the upside. In order for me to go lower, I think it's better to first start looking at the 12,200 zone. If that gets cleared, then it's the 12,107 territory, and then we will just kind of take it from there. Because if we do drop below the 12,107 territory, a forthcoming lower low will be confirmed. ASX 200, so yes, beautiful pop, so yes, understandable. Everything is kind of leaning right now towards the upside, and Australia is kind of following the US, Europe, yes, and yeah, now the question is how far can we go here? Well, to be honest, at this point, I'm kind of leaning towards the 50-day EMA here, shown as the red line. I think that this level might not be interesting. Maybe somewhere around here, the 7,114 could be a nice good target. And by the time this could potentially travel there, it could coincide with this territory, this hurdle, this 7,114. So yeah, everything could align, all the stars could align nicely for a test of this target. But in general, if you remember, last week I talked about this when I said to you that I need to see, for the upside, I need to see a break of this downside resistance line. And there we go. Dow Jones Industrial Average. So there we go. Beautiful pop here. Yesterday, I've mentioned this, and I said to you that if we do, if we do push above this this barrier, or should I say, we stay above the 33,450 zone, then yes, my next target is the 33,757. Tick, tick. Beautiful. Mission accomplished. Fantastic. Now what's next? What we are looking at here is basically this, or at least what I'm looking at here is basically this, that as long as we stay above the 33,757, then yes, my next target is the 200-day EMA, and then we will just kind of take it from there. In terms of the downside on this one, well, this is where I will redraw. I will take this downside line and convert it into an upside one. So something like this, basically. Now I get it. Look, it's not a trend line of trend lines, and it's not the one that to focus on the most. No, because it's very tentative. And what the hell is here? Yeah, it's very tentative, and that's why it might not even carry any significance. So I'm just kind of trying to put something out there just to kind of maybe try to find an opportunity for a downside. But at the moment, with the downside, I think that, yeah, it's a little bit difficult. Maybe actually more sellers could join in on a break below this 33,359 territory, somewhere around here. These are the futures, by the way. I keep on referring to this, that these are the futures that I'm looking at. This is not the cash index, but in a way, similar story in there. You can find the necessary target. So but yeah, if it's never the exact level, guys. It's always the area around that. So just kind of think about it this way. So yeah, at the moment, yes, I'm leaning towards the upside as long as we continue to trade above the 33,757 territory right there. So yes, of course, look, the stock market yesterday kind of rallied, and I mean, yesterday the biggest gainer, I think, was yes, the S&P, because because of these little fellas right here. For example, this one right there, Lockheed Martin, then we have Gunman, is it Gunthorpe? now wait, what's the name of that one? Let me just Northrop Grumman. Yeah, there we go. Northrop. Northorp. Yep. So these fellas right there, yep. I mean, these are all defense stocks. Apart from Boeing. Boeing is in deep shit. Deep, yeah. Problems. Look, I mean, maybe it's gonna rise. I don't know, but in general, Boeing is not the one to keep an eye on right now. But yeah, something like Raytheon Technologies and I can't find that one. Raytheon. I think that one's a bit of a. I think General Dynamics. General Dynamics. Yeah, that's the one. Also, there we go. Another explosion here. So. It's all understandable because again, the conflicts are, it's most of people's loss, but a few people's gain, right? I mean, congratulations, and this is like, if you're in those stocks, well, you should be happy that conflicts break out. So yeah, again, it's a little bit of a an interesting situation right now where it seems like in a way, conflicts should matter to the stock market, but I think that because of this, everybody's thinking that which companies will be involved, and there's a lot of American companies that will be involved in all this. And guess what? I mean, profits might soar. Soar. Yeah, there could be some good profits and cash taking, and surprise, surprise. But yeah, and that's why we're seeing some positivity in the stock market in the U.S. And my question, of course, is how much more? I mean, will this be like this? But okay. It is what it is, right? I mean, this is the financial world, and unfortunately. But anyway, so from the technical perspective, what can I say is that the 33,757, as long as we remain above that, then yes, I will consider a move towards the 200-day EMA. S&P 500, also, I talked about this yesterday, and basically the fact that it climbed above and stayed above that 200-day EMA, then that kind of increased the chances for a further move north, and we did that move. We tested my 4,357 territory. Great, we broke above it. So basically what I said to you before, that if we do clear this barrier and stay above it, then yes, I'll go further north. I mean, this arrow here is very ambitious. I think I need to kind of lower down my appetite a little bit. So initially I will be targeting the 100 and the 50-day EMAs, and then we will just kind of take it from there. We'll see how it goes further, but at this point, just like I said, I'm aiming for these two EMAs. If that gets clear, then yes, the 4,434 territory is the next one to watch. I need to grab this trend line. I need to probably do the same thing as I did with some other indices right now. So just kind of marking maybe something like this around here. Look, for now, what I would like to see here is basically a push towards this territory, and then just kind of take it from there. Basically, for the downside, I think that the similar option is to consider the drop below the 200-day EMA. If we can get that, then yes, more sellers here could join in. NASDAQ 100. So NASDAQ 100. Okay. Look, for now, I am, yes, so far my scenario is working out, and I'm happy with this because what I said to you yesterday, that as long as we remain above this 14,955 territory, I will continue aiming to the upside, initially towards my 50-day EMA, and then this 15,223. Tick, tick. Fantastic. Well done. Great stuff. So now the question is, can we see a further move towards this downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 19th of July? So if we do clear this 15,223, then yes, my next target is this downside resistance line. So At the moment, that's the simplistic approach here on the NASDAQ 100. For the downside, well, this is where I will shift my arrow back here. And if we do fall back below this 14,955, then yes, my next target is this 14,600 territory, somewhere around here. And then we will take it from there. The German index, DAX. So yes, good move here as well to the upside. Not as much as the US indices, but still quite a good move. So in general, look, I'm still aiming to the upside as long as we remain above this short-term tentative upside support line drawn from the low of the 4th of October. If we climb above that, then yes, great. Potentially more buyers could join in here. Then yes, we could, let's say, we could kind of, aim for that 200-day EMA here, or this 15,511 zone, and then we will take it from there. So basically, long story short, for now, yes, I'm targeting the upside as long as we stay above this upside support line. If we do start clearing it and we fall below the 15,265 territory, somewhere around here, like I said, this is just an approximate level. It might not maybe carry any significance. Maybe it's going to be something else, but at the moment I still kind of like it. So yeah, I'm just kind of keeping that one in mind. The FTSE 100. The FTSE 100 is also at a very interesting spot. So yes, we climbed above this territory, the 7,520. We tested my EMAs here, beautiful, and now my next target is this downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 21st of September. So I'm still aiming for that one, and then I'll take it from there. Maybe it's gonna do something like this, who knows, but let's not rush into things. For now, yes, I will kind of keep an eye on this downside line, and like I said, and that's what I will be aiming for now. If we do clear this downside line, then yes, potentially more buyers could join in, and we could go towards that 7,700 zone, and then we'll just take it from there. But let's go slowly on this one. At the moment, like I said, just aim for this downside line, or at least that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to aim for this downside line. In order to consider the downside, a drop back below the 7,520 territory would be required. US dollar index. So US dollar index is, yeah, it is drifting nicely, or should I say at least drifted yesterday to the downside. We fell below this 105.87 territory. I spoke about that level. And today we are just kind of bouncing around this. So what it means that it's something, it's starting to not work. So it's starting to stop. Yeah, at the moment, I think that we need to redo this chart a little bit, and you know what, let me just give it a fresh look and remove everything and just start fresh. So yes, this level here, initially it was working, but now you can see that it's not, so we need to get rid of it. I will draw this upside line again. I like it still because we clearly broke it nicely. So the question for me now is, can we kind of see a further decline? In general, I am kind of leaning towards that, like, let's say a kind of weaker dollar right now, like for a bit of retracement. Where's my, just a second, we'll put this little hurdle here, because I think that this is something that's working currently, this 105.68 zone. Or actually, you know what? I think maybe just this is the territory to be watched. So this 105.65, this is going to be my first, I think, target for the downside. So if we do clear it, a forthcoming lower low will be confirmed. Then we have these obstacles here, 105.44. And then we'll go on further from there. So, but of course, what I wanted to do here is to draw the Fibonacci, my beloved Fibonacci, and need to extend it a little bit more to the right. Yep, there we go. So, I will be aiming for that 23.6, to be honest. If we do fall below this 105.65, I'm going to be aiming for my 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci. And then we'll take it from there. In order for me to go lower. Where's that arrow? Yes, of course, further like a drop below the 23.6 is required, but then the problem is the 50-day EMA, which could potentially provide some sort of support. So that's why I think that the more reasonable option right now is just to aim for that 23.6 and then just to take it from there. In terms of the upside, well, I would like to see a push back above this upside line. I think that this is going to be my cue for the upside. But at the moment, I'm kind of okay. My logic is this: that given due to the situation right now with the geopolitical situation, I think the dollar might go a little bit lower. Why? Let me just scroll back here a little bit. Why? Because look, USA is a big exporter of weapons, right? Why do I need to buy, like US weapons when, let's say, it's quite expensive, let's say, for me to purchase, right? And because I'm in another currency, I need to convert it into dollars and then purchase the weaponry. And why, it becomes expensive, right? So your currency is like very strong right now, so it's becoming difficult for me to buy from you. So that's why the US dollar might go a little bit lower, and maybe this could, how to say it, help out to purchase more, to do some sales, some weaponry sales for the US. So a weaker dollar could, do the trick and could help that out. So yeah, but that's a theory only. We'll see, because let's say back in February, at the end of February, dollar was on the weaker side. It was like well below the 100 mark. Only after it started rising, because yes, I mean there were a lot of purchases happening, and we know what happened in February of the end of February of last year. So, and then it kind of, and then it rose a little bit higher. So, yeah, again, we'll see how it plays out, of course. We'll see. But yeah, coming back to the technical technical perspective, I mean, kind of, yes, let's see if we can actually, go lower here and test the 23.6. Dollar. Yes, I mean something that relates to the dollar. Gold. Of course, after the events, gold after this weekend, gold shot to the upside and kind of has been seen as a little bit of a safe haven. So it seems like the reports, the tensions. I mean, the tensions are kind of not going down. I would say it's the wrong thing to say, but everybody's talking about the calm, moment right now, in terms of nothing is escalating, but and this is where we're seeing gold is correcting back down a little bit. In general, look, my target got reached, the 38.2. I've talked about this yesterday. I said to you that as long as we remain above this 1846 territory, that's what I'm going to aim for. I'm going to aim for that 38.2. Initially aiming for the 1858 tick, and then the 38.2. Beautiful resistance, fantastic hold up. Now what's next? Well, next is this, that if we do pop and stay above this 38.2, then yes, my next target is the 50% retracement on the Fibonacci, and then we will just kind of take it from there. In terms of the downside on gold, I think that maybe a drop back below the 23.6 would be required, but I think initially I will start looking at the 1846 right here, and yes, a drop below that, then all eyes will be on the 23.6, and if that gets cleared, yes, further declines here are possible, and we could start aiming for maybe something around here, the 1835, or even below that. But at the moment, gold is picking up interest, not only because it's a safe haven, but also because it's used in the military. It's used in a lot of electronics, and that's something to consider. So in general, metals, commodities are something to be watched right now, as my heading states. So gold is a commodity. Yes, it is a commodity. So yes, it's a metal. It's a commodity in general. So there we go. You know, we're seeing some demand picking up in commodity world, but I'll get to a few in a bit. So yeah, that's the game plan for gold. Silver, similar story. We're still kind of let's say leaning. I'm leaning slightly towards the upside. Yeah. Look. For now, I would say this way that as long as we remain above the 21.47 territory, somewhere around here, then yes, there is a chance to go and move to the upside towards my 22.11, 22 levels. So approximately around there. This is what I said yesterday. The same game plan is valid. Oil is stuck near this downside resistance line. So yes, we're waiting for further news around the conflict in Israel and Gaza. So yes, my question here right now is, can we see a further move north? Well, from the technical perspective, I'm kind of leaning towards that, to be honest, because we broke the downside line. We're still above the 50-day EMA. So in a way, my next target is the 88 zone. And if that gets clear, then it's the 90.36 territory, and then we'll just take it from there. For the downside, I need to see a drop below the 81.74 territory. I get it. It's a lot of territory to be missed out on. But at this point, I'm sticking to that idea. If we do see something else, I might reconsider and maybe lift my arrow a little bit higher. But at this point, it's here. Natural gas. Natural gas. There we go. I mean, a while ago I talked about this and just wanted to quickly confirm this, that this idea worked out nicely. So I'm still aiming for my 3.5 territory, 3.6, something like that. If that gets clear, then yes, I will then aim for that psychological 4 level. For the downside, I need to see a drop back below the 200-day EMA, and then we will just go from there. Sugar, just a quick update as well. Yesterday, if you remember, I mentioned this. I said that we are testing this downside resistance line, and in order for me to go higher, I need to see a break of that downside resistance line. Boom. Fantastic. Good result. Now my next target is the 27.61, and then I'll take it from there. For the downside, I am very careful here, and not only that I need to see a drift back below this downside line, but also a drop below the 50-day EMA right here, and then we will take it from there. Wheat. Yes, wheat is interesting as well. So previously I talked about the range here, and it was kind of working, but now I think it's no longer working. So I need to get rid of this. I think I will mark this territory right here. I think I like it as a good potential target, but in order for me to aim for that target, I need to see a nice good clearance of this territory, this 580 zone, because at the same time we will break above the downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 7th of August, and if we get that, then yes, more buyers could join in. In terms of the downside, I would like to see a drop somewhere below this, at least initially, below this 551 zone or 550 territory in general. Then yes, of course, we will aim for, and now I have this level here on the bottom, this one right there, but I think I need to redo this. I need to mark this current low. And if that gets clear, then my next target is the this current low, or should I say, where's that? There we go. 540 zone. If we do clear that one, a forthcoming lower low will be confirmed. And my next target is the 488 zone right there. And then we'll take it from there. So, yep, that's my game plan for wheat. But, yes, it's quite interesting, especially for the upside. But, again, we cannot rush into things. It needs a confirmation break. Now, Ethereum, jumping into a few cryptos. There we go. Boom. Fantastic. Mission accomplished. I tested my target, this upside support line drawn from the low of the 17th of August. And yes, this territory right here, the 1563 zone, is something that I'm keeping an eye on as well. Look, this level needs to go. I think if you're looking for some higher levels at the moment, I think that maybe push above the 1602 territories somewhere there is required. Yeah, if we do then clear this territory, if we jump back above it, then okay, look, maybe it's not the most ideal level here, the 1602. You know why? Because I have my doubts here a little bit. Maybe this could kind of be in the way a little bit. So yeah, we do have this downside line as well. So maybe for that extra confirmation, a push through this downside line would be required, and then we could go from there. In terms of the downside, look, I think that this is what we need here, a clearance of this upside line still. Yes, we cleared it yesterday, but we failed to stay below it. So we need to see a nice good clearance of this upside line in order, and we need to see the body of the daily candle staying below it in order to go lower. So that's the situation with Ethereum. Ripple, Ripple, there we go. Breaking the upside line, so this is increasing the chances for a drift lower. Bringing my arrow a little bit higher here, and I'm initially aiming for that 0.46 territory and then 0.45 territory. So for these two levels, that's what I'm going to be aiming for initially, and then I'll take it from there. For the upside, I still need to see the same game plan. A push above the 0.55 territory is required for me. AUDUSD, AUDUSD, nice push back up, and we stayed above the 0.6365 territory. So yes, and then I said to you that if we do continue to trade above it, then yes, I will aim for that 50-day EMA. Well, we almost reached that, so it's a good result. Now, if we want to go further north, I would say a push above the 50-day EMA here is required. If we get that move, if we get that move, then yes, my next target is the 0.6522 territory, and then we'll take it from there. In terms of aiming for the downside, a drop below the 0.6365 territory is needed, and then yes, maybe also we could see a break of this steeper upside line, which could, you know, play out nicely. All this could play out nicely in general. So yeah, this could open the door to some lower levels. AUDNZD. AUDNZD. Oh, and by the way, in terms of news from Australia, look, we did get the NAB business confidence, and yeah, that came out at 1. NAB business survey dropped a little bit, and private house approvals did improve. I mean, they came out as forecast. Yeah, okay. Building approvals also as forecast 7%. Okay, that's interesting. That's kind of good news, I would say, for the Australian stock market. So, but yeah, let's wait and see for now how everything globally escalates further. From the technical perspective, AUDNZD is still balancing above this 1.0644. I talked about this before, and I said to you that in order for me to go lower, a drop below this territory is required. We got a drop, but we didn't stay below it. So I need to see the body of the daily candle staying below this area in order to go further south. At the moment, we are struggling with this barrier, so let's wait and see. Let's not rush in with the upside, because for me, the upside is on a break of this downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 15th of September. Now, AUDJPY, looking at this, what we can see here is the nice push higher, and I talked about this yesterday, and or was it yesterday? I can't remember now. Anyway, recently, yes, for sure, because what I've talked about, I said that if we do climb back above this upside support line right here, then I'll get a little bit more excited again with the upside, and that's what I'm going to stick to. I'm just going to stick to my words, and I'm going to get more excited with the upside as long as we remain above this upside support line drawn from the low of the 24th of March of this year. If we start falling below the 50-day EMA, then yes, I will aim for the 100-day EMA and then maybe the 200-day EMA as well. So that's my game plan here for AUDJPY. NZDCHF, just a quick update. So far, so good. It's rebounding. So I talked about this yesterday, if you remember. I've mentioned that as long as we remain above this downside resistance line, then yes, my next target is the 200-day EMA together with the 0.5493 territory right there. If that gets cleared, yes, higher levels could be met. For the downside, I need to see a drop below the 100-day EMA right here. If we can get that, then yes, more sellers could could join in. If we do get a drop below the 100-day EMA, then yes, my next target is the 50-day EMA, and then maybe lower. But yes, at this point, I am just kind of, like I said, keeping an eye on this zone, and I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the upside. NZDJPY also very, very attractive. I mean, you can see why. Looking at this, oh, somebody is doing some renovations. And yeah, somebody's doing some renovations here. So, okay, sorry for that, guys. Just bear with me one moment. Just bear with me one moment, and I'll try to maybe see if they can stop it. Okay, guys, here I'm back again. So I've asked kindly that the renovations would stop a little bit, but just for like another 15 minutes or something, we're going to be done in that. But yeah, look, NZDJPY is quite good looking here because look, we have an important barrier which we are testing again. So if we can clear that 89.70 territory and stay above it, because as you can see, we did clear it previously and we failed to stay above it. So, but this time, if we can stay above it, yes, we could go further north and we could go a little bit more towards the upside. For the downside, I need to see a drop somewhere below this territory. So look, in general, I don't like kind of aiming for anything inside like something like a triangle like here, like it's kind of like an ascending triangle. But given that the area is quite big, I think that maybe we could capture something here if we do fall below the 88.90 territory. We could consider a bit of a move lower, at least towards the 50-day EMA, and maybe even we could test this upside line. So that's kind of the game plan that I have here. Yes, let's see if that's going to work out. But like I said, that's my downside scenario. CHF JPY, the battle of the safe havens here, and I can see that the Swiss franc so far is winning a little. It seems like that. So I think this barrier needs to be redrawn. I think that this is what we need to mark here, the 164.2930 zone, approximately around here. That's what I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. If we do clear it, then yes, my next target is the highest point of August, or I should say the highest point of this year, the current highest point of this year, near the 166.60 zone. That's going to be a nice good target if we do pop and stay above the 164.29 zone right there. In terms of the downside, a drop back below this downside line would be required in order to consider slightly lower levels. But as I said to you before, that I would prefer to wait for a drop below the 100-day EMA. USDJPY also trying to make its way back up. Look, I talked about this hurdle yesterday, 148.46. It kind of worked, kind of didn't. So yeah, it's getting a little bit messy with USDJPY. And yes, I'm trying to find some sort of logic here. Look, I think now I need to kind of keep on lowering my ideas here, like, because, okay, my levels here. So the 148.26, maybe this is something that we could stick to, because like I said, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, right? And this is one of those moments where technicals are not really working well, and I'm trying to find some sort of logic, but it's a little bit difficult. So I think that this is the thing. For me to consider the upside, a pop above this 150.16 territory is required. For the downside, well, again, I will have to consider something like 148.26 zone. If we do drop below this, if we do drop below this territory, then yes, more sellers could join in. So if we do drop below the 148.26 zone, then yes, I will aim for that 50-day EMA here. together with this 147.32 zone. US dollar against the Canadian dollar. There we go. Beautiful result here. My mission accomplished. So I talked about this. I said to you before that if we do fall back below this downside line, this is what I talked about yesterday. Yesterday I talked about this level and we reached that. But last week I talked about this downside line. I said that if we do fall back below it, I'll consider a move towards the 1.3640 tick and then maybe the 1.3575 tick. Fantastic result here, beautiful test, and now the question here is, can we see a further move lower? Well, we still have a bit of room to the downside here towards the 50-day EMA, but for that one, I think you would need to wait for a drop below this 1.3575 territory. If we can get that, then yes, my next target is the 50-day EMA, or maybe even we could go further south, but let's go slowly on this. Let's not rush into things. Let's first aim for... first aim for the 100-day EMA, and or first aim for the 50-day EMA. If that gets clear, then the 100 and then the 200. For the upside, by the way, if there are any bulls out there, then you need to wait for at least, or in my opinion, you need to wait for a push back above the 1.3695 territory, somewhere around here, in order to go a little bit higher. USDCHF is still on the way to the downside. Everything's fine here. So yes, I'm still aiming for that 200-day EMA together with the 50-day EMA and this 0.8998 level right here. Or in general, the 0.90 territory. The psychological 0.90 is still very, very attractive here. And given that we are seeing some strength in the Swiss franc, there is some logic that this could go further a little bit to the downside. GBPUSD, something talking about the downside. Also, I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, and I've removed all the drawings just to it was all over the place. So now we need to have a fresh look. So in general, what I'm seeing here is like a kind of like a little range, but more like a maybe descending triangle pattern. So we do, but most importantly, 1.1060 is something that is currently providing a good hold up right here. So yes, this is the barrier that I'm watching right now. If we do clear it, then yes, I will go further south towards this 1.1027 or the 1.0990 territory. So this is going to be my nice downside scenario, but again, a clearance first is required of this territory, of this key support zone. For the upside, well, look, as much as I would like to draw this as a range, it kinda is, but maybe it's actually more of a like a descending triangle or something like that. Either way, guys, even if it's a triangle or is it a range here, look, the prevailing trend before we got into this formation, the prevailing trend was to the downside. According to all the TA rules, it has a greater tendency to break lower in that case, rather than the upside. So it's like a little temporary pause before, it's like a continuation pattern. So it's like a temporary pause before further decline. And that's why I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the downside, but a confirmation break is still needed. So yeah, that's my game plan. For the upside, for the upside from the very short-term perspective, actually, I'm going to stick to my 50-day EMA, and then I'll start going to the upside. GBPJPY. This one's also interesting, and we are sliding, or we're testing this downside resistance line drawn from the high of the 22nd of August. If that gets cleared, great, more buyers could join in, but I'll probably get more comfortable with the upside if we do push above the 183 territory. For the downside, I need to see a drop below this 180.81 territory, and this 100-day EMA here is also something to keep in mind. If we do drop below that, then yes, more sellers could join in. 179.47 territory is the next one to watch, and then 178.05 as well. Euro NOK. So something that you probably don't look at very often, but guys, I mean, we did get some CPI numbers from Norway, and those were on the lower side, quite lower, I would say, especially the year-on-year headline year-on-year inflation number. Yeah, the previous number was at 4.8, the forecast is at 4, and then the actual number came out at 3.3. So we're seeing some weakness in the Norwegian krone here. Look, if you do like to trade this pair, I mean, it does present itself with some nice opportunities. At the moment, what I'm trying to find here is some sort of logic here, and maybe actually this could work out. So we have this upside support line drawn from the low of the 25th of July of this year. At the same time, we have a resistance barrier right here near the 11.63 zone. So good potential target, good potential resistance area. Together with this this 11.60 zone. So if you're by any chance looking for some higher, if you're in the market for some higher levels, then I think that the better option here is to wait out and wait for a break of this highlighted zone right here in order to go to the upside. So long story short, let me just put an arrow here. That's what I'm going to wait for the upside. And then we could target this and maybe this. And for the downside, yes, pretty straightforward. A break of this upside line is required. Initially, we will be keeping a close eye on this territory, the lowest point of September. If that gets cleared, then it's the 11.09 zone. That's what I'm going to be aiming for after. EURONZD. So there we go. Mission accomplished. Fantastic. I've reached my target. Look, I've talked about this. I said to you yesterday that if we do fall and stay below this 200-day EMA because we found good resistance near the lower side of the falling channel, which we violated and it's no longer valid, but I'm still keeping it on the chart here because somehow it's doing a good job and I like it. And I said to you, my next target is this upside support line drawn from the low of the 12th of August, which we tested beautifully and we're rebounding now from it. So in a way, I would say it can carry significance. So long story short, if you're now looking for some further declines, a drop below this upside line is required. Additionally, I can see that this level here is kind of doing a good job as well. So the 1.7542. So that could be our extra, level confirmation for some downside if we do want to clear this territory. In terms of the upside, well, I would like to see a push back above this lower side of the falling channel. If I can get that, then yes, great. I will aim for the upper side of the falling channel. And then we'll take it from there. And finally, EURUSD, guys. So yeah, just a quick one on that one. Look, we did get a push higher, but then we are seeing now a bit of retracement. To be honest, as long as we remain above this 1.0558 territory, there is still a chance to go and test this downside line drawn from the high of the 18th of July. I'm not giving up on it yet. So even if it does fall below this 1.0558, look, I'm not getting, let's say, excited with the downside yet. For me at this point, because it didn't reach the downside line yet, for me at this point, I would like to start looking at some lower levels if we do fall below this zone right here. Below this 1.0483 territory right here. And yeah, if we do fall below it, then my next target is the 1.0448, 1.0448, 43, something like that. But if that gets clear, the forthcoming lower low will be confirmed. So just keep that in mind, and then yeah, we could go further south. But look, like I said, I'm not rushing into the downside yet because we're still holding above this 1.0558 territory, and I'm not giving up on this downside line, at least for now. If I see that it's nowhere near, it's not going to go there, hey, maybe then I'll abandon that idea. But for now, at this point, I am just, yeah, like I said, I'm just watching this one, observing the price action, and I'm not rushing into anything because, as I said to you earlier, I am kind of leaning for this fella to go lower. And if this fella goes lower, this one goes a little bit higher. So guys, that's it for this session. I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, your views, your rocket ships, your comments, everything. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much for killing an hour of your life with me. I really, really thank you a lot for that. Join me tomorrow morning, as always, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a beautiful trading day. Stay safe. Have your stop losses in place. Don't risk what you can afford to lose. Cannot afford to lose. Don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and bye-bye. You just broke a digital image cursing us all to 7 years of market volatility. Undo by subscribing to our channel.